Hey everybody, my name is Nathan James. I'm going to be going over my assistive technology resource guide. I really wanted to go into this relatively informally. I thought about how I prefer to go through things like this, and generally my preference is just to be able to cycle through potential resources that I might be interested in using. I find sometimes a lot of exposition causes me to kind of not necessarily tune out, but to skim more than I might like to. So I try to be cognizant of the fact that some of the some of the shortened attention span that through our relationship to media now that a lot of our students experience is something that I experience too. So try I just try to keep things brief whenever possible and try to stick to the content that I find other professionals might find interesting. So went through definitions of assistive technology, cognitive assistance devices, alternative communication systems, environmental control devices, and technology for individuals with autism. So I found some pretty interesting definitions of assistive technology. Obviously, we've gone through that pretty extensively within the class, but I found some video resources that offer some different perspectives on that, that personalize that and provide a little bit of color in terms of what that experience entails. Some different perspectives on that. I'm not going to play all of these within the video, but I think we'll post the link to the resource guide itself. I think that's part of the point, but gives everybody an opportunity to. I found this one particularly interesting, but give everybody an opportunity to look through those. I did choose to keep things pretty video oriented throughout mine, just because I thought that would keep it pretty interactive, which I liked. But there are other types of resources throughout the presentation. So again, we have one section on low, mid, and high tech assisted technology. And then with this part, I wanted to get a little bit more analytical too. There's one on the case against assistive technology, which I liked a lot, and then one on unlocking the future and what potential ramifications the usage of assistive technology can have for its users, and why we choose to analyze this stuff so extensively. So some really interesting cognitive assistance devices. The tracker technology is something that allows users to keep track of particular devices, keys, phones, whatever devices they need to keep a hold of. Visual Impact 3. I saw a few other people in the class included this one. Really interesting stuff. Step-by-step multimedia instruction. Support daily tasks of all kinds. When I saw this, it seemed like something that I might want to use. Just helps organize all facets of life for people who need cognitive assistance. Work. Oh, that link's broken, but Workbook is a program for just keeping your life organized. The Watchminder is a watch that provides specific reminders for users. The use of assistive switches is really interesting, because again, for people who might have physical disabilities, it allows them use of technology that they might not have otherwise. So alternative communication systems, some really, really interesting stuff in here that allows people to transcribe and express written information, auditory information. Again, some there's some different nuances between some of these systems. This one in particular, Beams, is something that allows people to create music without having to play instruments in a specific way. It's a little bit more intuitive, because I think sometimes you talk about assistive technology, it can be a little bit focused on specific utilities, and I think keeping an expressive angle there is important and very, very helpful. So again, a few other communication systems, watches that allow users to express greetings, note-taking apps, speech generation devices, things of that nature. Moving on to environmental control devices, just again a little bit more video showing these tools in action, things that allow users to have a little bit more control over their lived environments, and provide essential services, things like first aid kits, and then there's a pretty extensive use of infrared to allow whether that's the use of remotes for opening doors, using elevators, and there's a lot of interesting interaction between both the detectors, receivers, transmitters of these devices. And there's again a lot of technology that's required to make something that appears pretty simple to work effectively. And then working on technology for individuals with autism. A lot of this, again, interacts to some degree with cognitive assistance, but you also see, again, more low-tech tools being used just to assist daily living, but also provide users with more sensory comfort, acquisition of life skills, and just occupational therapy. I'm sure there are a lot of teachers here who, if they don't personally work in them, have sensory or occupational therapy rooms in their school. We recently got a new building 2 or 3 years ago, and that occupational therapy element has been really, really helpful for some of the young kids. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave that in the discussion post. It's been really exciting to see everybody else's presentation. So, all right.